And welcome back to Washington Commanders Insider. Today, the Washington Commanders take the loss 28-27. A tough loss for this Washington Commanders team. They had an opportunity to win the football game. We're trying to get the football back and jumped off sides, and that essentially ended the game. And before that, Russell Wilson had a game-winning touchdown pass to Mike Williams. He had a 32-yard touchdown pass there. It was his first and only catch with the Pittsburgh Steelers thus far. And the defense had actually forced a turnover prior to that, and the Washington Commanders were unable to essentially run out the clock there. And so just looking at the game stats here in this tough loss, starting with Jaden Daniels. And so you'll notice that he had 3 sacks today, and that we knew was going to be an issue for the Washington Commanders with this tough defense and their ability to get home with sacks and things like that. And so they were able to get home against Jaden Daniels today with the 3 sacks. It was tough to really get Jaden Daniels going. He's 17 of 34, 202. He still had a 5.9 average, but you can tell that they absolutely slowed down Jaden Daniels as far as what he wanted to do in the passing game. But I think we did an okay job running the football. 13 carries, 44 yards, 2 touchdowns from Austin Eckler. You see Jeremy McNichols, he got a touchdown as well. But aside from that, again, this is where the Pittsburgh Steelers just really made it tough for the Washington Commanders because Jaden Daniels, I believe he's averaging about 50 plus. He only had 5 yards today. Chris Rodriguez Jr., who's just been signed up from the practice squad, he had 4 yards. And I'm pretty sure that this has probably got to be a season low for us as far as yards gained. We did have 22 carries, 60 yards, and 3 touchdowns on the day, but the Pittsburgh Steelers made it very tough here. And one of the things that was talked about, I believe, during the broadcast is that, or at least on the NFL Network, they were talking about that the Pittsburgh Steelers are actually one of the best defensive teams against scrambling quarterbacks. And so they did a great job today as far as containing Jaden Daniels. And as far as passing the football, Terry McLaurin, he had a very good day, 5 receptions, 113 yards. I thought that it was going to be a bit tougher for him, but he was able to make some plays out there, wasn't able to get into the end zone, but they did keep everybody else in check. Noah Brown, only 3 receptions, 33 yards. Then also to Zach Ertz, 4 receptions, 31 yards. We needed him to have 32 yards to keep that drive alive. And so, I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers did a great job as far as just limiting kind of the big plays there in the secondary, even though we outgained them 202 as far as the yards gained and 17 receptions here. And so as we flip over to the other side of the ball, notice that the Pittsburgh Steelers were able to get it done as far as running the football. You're looking at Jaylen Warren, who did have that tough fumble out there, 14 carries, 66 yards. Najee Harris left the game for a little bit, 21 carries, 53 yards, ran extremely hard, had a touchdown today, but 140 total yards and 43 carries. And so that's pretty much what the Washington Commanders, I think, needed to do. We needed to continue to pound on this defense and really keep it honest out there. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, give them credit. They take care of business and they stay with their identity of running the football and setting up the play action. George Pickens, he had a pretty good day today, 5 receptions, 91 yards, and a touchdown. He had a nice touchdown pass over the top. And then Mike Williams as well with that touchdown that essentially won it. And so, look, Russell Wilson, we talked about him being a player that is going to throw the deep ball. And that's, I think, why he's starting for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's what he did today. He got to the deep ball, and that's what ultimately won it. And even though we got an interception against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we also caused a fumble and even got 3 sacks today, he still made the key play when it was needed. And that's exactly why the Pittsburgh Steelers went out there and got Russell Wilson. And so, I think defensively, we see exactly why we go out there and we get Marshawn Lattimore. I talked about earlier in the week that St. Juste is, I think, one of the most targeted cornerbacks in the league, even though he is still holding his own. But you know that Marshawn Lattimore is a player that most units are not even going to think about testing, and that's certainly going to help us out. And so, look, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it is a tough loss for us today. I know that St. Juste obviously wanted to make that play, but there were several other plays that the Washington Commanders could have made in this game, which could have won this football game. And when you look at a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, who won a tough game against the Denver Broncos today, you know, those teams find ways to win these type of games. And I think that the Commanders are right there because we found a way to win that game against the Bears. And we were this close from winning this game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so, look, I know we're 7-3. I know that this was a discouraging loss, but I promise you, I have seen a lot of terrible losses being a Washington fan, and I'm not discouraged by this loss. I know it's tough again, but I think that this is something that this team is absolutely going to grow from. I do like some of the things that they were able to do defensively. I talked about the sacks and then generating the turnovers. Like, that's something that we weren't able to do at the beginning of the season. We needed to generate turnovers. And so I like the fact that we're starting to generate turnovers. And I think that this defense is only going to get better once you get Marshawn Lattimore there. And I think that this defense, just like the offense, it's getting better. It's getting better under Coach Witt. And also, too, it's just you can tell that the identity of the Washington Commanders is just getting better and better each game. And so, again, I know we have a tough loss today, but I think that the Commanders can definitely take this loss, move on from this, and they're going to find a way to come back from this. And so, you know, our next game coming up here, we do have the Pittsburgh Steelers, or not the Pittsburgh Steelers, excuse me. We just played the Pittsburgh Steelers, but the Philadelphia Eagles, that is going to be a Thursday night game right now. Currently, during this recording, the Eagles are actually struggling with the Dallas Cowboys. I believe it is 7-3. And so, you know, hopefully we're able to get Brian Robinson Jr. back. He certainly was not able to play today. That is definitely a difference maker, I think, for this team. And again, I like the fact that Jaden Daniels goes into this, gets a true learning experience from it. I didn't turn the football over, and I think he's going to get better, especially once you learn how to, beat teams like this, especially when they're geared up for you. So we got a tough one this next week coming up. Love to know what your thoughts are in the comments about the Washington Commanders taking a loss here. But we'll be talking a little bit more about just the reflections from this game and just kind of getting ready for the Philadelphia Eagles on the next one. This is Rico. This is Washington Commanders Insider. And I will see you guys on the next one. All right. Peace. Peace.